Welcome to the GunChannels.com early lobby chat. I'm Nightstrike. Thanks for listening. Get the links out there. Early lobby, let's go. See if anyone shows up. I will be in and out this evening, so I'm waiting on family to come back so we can go get what little Christmas shopping we have to do left. Which more or less means just go and get the dinner, and that's it. Because I haven't gotten my turkey or ham for dinner. Christmas dinner. Be cool if we could get Michigander in here, Bob, G-Webs, and whoever else is online. But I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it on. I'll be AFK. Poke me if anything happens. No, Moon, come back. Damn it. Oh well. All right, so what's going on today? Anything interesting? Let's go to the news. All right, Congress passed a spending bill yesterday for, what was it? Apparently guns are in it. Money reserved for the system to screen gun buyers are identical to 2015's funding. Shit like that. Standard political bullshit. Not really too interested in it, unfortunately. Here's one that people have mentioned. Effective February 1st, 2016, the Commonwealth of Virginia will no longer recognize concealed carry permits from half the states in the country. The state currently has either agreements or de facto recognition with 30 other states to honor permits issued to individuals after review by Virginia Attorney General Mark Herring. Well, no wonder he's a Democrat. He's got the last name of Herring. Same name as a fucking fish. Anyways. And with agreement with the state police, this number will shrink to just 5 states, as originally reported by the Washington Post. The pool of acceptable out-of-state permits was drained, according to Herring, because other states did not have issuing criteria as strict as Virginia's, which that's not really true. You can get a Virginia carry permit online. Just saying. To me, this is he says. To me, this is a common sense step. There's the key word again. That can help make Virginians and our law enforcement officers safer by ensuring that Virginia's laws on who can carry and cannot carry a concealed handgun are applied evidently, consistently, fairly, and fairly, said Herring, a Democrat who won a razor-thin margin of votes in 2013. You know, just why do politicians have to be so stupid? I don't know. Anyways, went on to say, our General Assembly has already identified who can and cannot conceal handguns in Virginia, and we cannot have that decision undermined by recognizing permits from other states with more permissive standards, Herring said. Well, more permissive standards. Oh, I don't know. You know, we may be in the United States. Has any Democrat heard of fucking freedom? I doubt it. Anyways, when the new policy takes effect in 6 weeks, the only permits recognized in the state of Virginia besides their own will be from Michigan, Oklahoma, Texas, Utah, and West Virginia. States are not bound to honor any other permits other than their own, though few, for instance, Illinois, take such an extreme stand. Among the 25 states that will no longer be recognized are Virginia's neighbors, Kentucky, North Carolina, Tennessee, Delaware, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and more. It's unclear if the move by Herring will change how Virginia's own 300,000 concealed carry permit holders will be accepted in the 32 other states, which currently honor them. Several to include Florida, Louisiana, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and Wyoming will no longer recognize Virginia concealed handgun permits because of laws in those states that require mutual recognition of permits. Well, anyone in Virginia, you're fucked. Might as well get an out-of-state permit. Gun control groups welcome the news of the state's increased regulations of concealed carry rights. Virginia's lack of enforcement of its own standards has been irresponsible and dangerous, said Coalition to Stop Gun Violence Executive Director Josh Horwitz. I don't want to say it, but we are all thinking it. In an email to guns.com. While the Commonwealth has plenty of room to improve their own standards for issuing concealed carry permits, the actions taken today by Attorney General are a good first step towards making Virginia a safer place for its citizens and visitors alike. Yep, safer, making them a statistic. So the civilians just die and become statistics, so the politicians and the rich people get richer. Not feeling it. In recent years, Virginia, symbolically the home of the National Rifle Association's headquarters, has been a battleground state for Second Amendment issues. Honestly, I'd tell the NRA to move, because Virginia just doesn't seem to be part of the South, or, they don't want you to have any rights anymore. Why would you want to live there? I wouldn't. The NRA slammed the AG's actions Tuesday. Plain and simple, Mark Herring is putting politics above public safety, said Chris Cox, executive director of NRA's Institute for Legislative Action, in a statement and email to guns.com. The decision is both dangerous and shameful. The Attorney General knows that permit holders are among the safest groups of citizens in the Commonwealth and the country. At a time when people are scared and desperately need the ability to defend themselves, Herring has chosen the path of making it self-defense harder. Well, gee, making self-defense harder. Yeah. Remember, they have a Democrat governor. I really don't want to read the rest of it, because it's just, there's only 2 more paragraphs, and it's just more about, statements from anti-gun people like the governor and whatnot. So you want to read the rest of it, read it. But more or less, if you're living in Virginia or you have a Virginia permit, get a different permit. Hey, G.
Hey.
Did you hear what I was talking about?
There's the lag, so you were, I think, just wrapping up.
Yeah, I was reading something from guns.com because no one was in here. Moon jumped in, and then he had a PC restart, so I just started reading something off there because there were people listening, so I didn't want it to be dead silence.
Yeah, feel free to continue. I'm actually just working here, but I figured I'd jump in so you're not by yourself.
Virginia just makes me sick. That's all I'm going to say. I am glad I live in South Carolina. Even though Lindsey Graham bowed out of the presidential race, I really thought he had a chance there for like 5 minutes. And yes, exactly, 5 minutes. That's how long he had a chance.
Well, those things come and go too, so they can swing that back the other way.
Yeah. Though, I wonder how long it's going to take for Virginia to get, Republicans in charge, because they got Democrats that are just playing, grab ass with all the laws. I mean, I've lived a bit of places in the United States, granted, most not longer than 4 or 5 years in several places. So, I lived like 7 years in Kentucky, and before that I lived in Arizona for many, many years. I was from Arizona, but, I have lived in California before, back in the early 90s, like 92, I think. Before that, I lived in Virginia. That was 91 for a year. And then, 89 to 90, I lived in Indiana at one point. So,
is this because you can't hold down a job?
No, this is when I was, a little tyke, My father had a corporate job at that time, and he kept on going up the ladder instead of down. So they kept on promoting him and sending him to different places. So, they paid for the move. So,
Right on. How did you like, or what part did you like the best, or which place did you like the best?
Granted, this is from a kid who a guy whose family were in corporate instead of like some people have military families, of which they get moved around a lot too, but generally not in the areas you want to. But I don't know. Out of all the places, I felt more at home in Kentucky, Georgia, and South Carolina than I do in, say Indiana, Virginia, or California. You can't really blame me, can you?
I don't know. I never lived in California. I wouldn't want to do that. Go shooting in all the places you lived?
No, I didn't go shooting. The only time I went shooting, and when I first got into guns majorly when I was in the Boy Scouts, and that was back when I was living in Arizona, for like the second time.
So how far did you go through Scouts?
I didn't get my Eagle Scout. I didn't go that far, but I got my shotgun badge. I got my muzzle loading badge.
So how far did you go?
I didn't go very far. I just went to that one camp, and that was it. I didn't really go that much because.
What rank did you get?
I don't even remember. It's been so long.
Oh, what grade in school then?
Like 4th or 5th grade.
So did you have a troop that was just kind of like there, or did you have a troop that was hardcore and you just didn't jive with all the dudes, or what?
It was more the second one.
Yeah, that can happen. You didn't have other troops to choose from, or you just didn't think it was your thing?
They were the only ones in the area, and the other thing is they were all Mormons.
Oh yeah, I bet you that could be an issue.
The odd man out,
Where I was at, there was so many of them that if you had some specific religion, you could pick it, or if the opposite, you didn't want something like that, or if there were school options, and then even other options like VFW halls and shit.
No, I'm not trying to persecute a religion or anything. Some of my best friends are Mormons. Okay, so I'm not saying the religion itself is bad, or the people aren't bad either. They're great people.
If you want to go into the Scouts for camping and doing something else, then
I mean, they'll take their shirt off for you and give it to you if you need it. So they're really good people. I would say I rate them higher than Jehovah's Witnesses. I'll tell you that.
I don't have to get into all that, but yeah. Anyway, I was just wondering how far you went to Scouts. So,
yeah. But I did get my shotgun badge, and I got my muzzle loading badge. So, and that's when I started getting really into guns. But I didn't buy any until last year because, well, I didn't really. I'm not been really good at saving my money. And last year, my grandfather gave me a bit of inheritance, because he passed away last year. So, I bought a couple rifles and a couple guns, something that I could pass on to my children and say that, my grandfather gave me these instead. Granted, it's not entirely the truth, but, instead of spending the money on, cars or computers or something like my cousins did with their inheritance, I figured, why not buy something that, I can at least sell it back for what it's worth.
A bunch of crack.
Moon, we're not talking about your investments.
Oh.
So,
damn it.
I don't know if you read the Arizona Republic, but my grandfather was in the Arizona Republic last year, right after he died. Not just in the obituaries, they actually did a piece on him.
I don't think I know where I would even get a newspaper, dude.
I've been reading this thing in the morning at work called a newspaper.
Is that like a printout of the internet?
I think that's what it kind of looks like.
Come on, you guys are like 10 or 20 years older than me. You should know what a newspaper is. What the hell?
I remember
There's
when they
no
all went out of
mouse.
business.
I can't click on anything. There's no mouse.
You guys are assholes.
Every time you try to like go to the next page, nothing happens. You click on the little thing where it says continue on page whatever, and you click there, and nothing happens. You click there, touch there.
Yeah, and you can't scroll up or down. I know.
Exactly.
Oh, you can, but then it all starts to rip up.
I have to use my hands to like push this thing up and down because I don't feel like moving my head, I guess. I don't know.
Wow. Fun stuff. Fun stuff.
But yeah,
So what's going on with you two tonight?
Working.
nothing here. Just got
Gee,
done.
what do you do besides just your websites? Do you do anything else? You never talk too much about it.
He's a lumberjack.
A lot of times I'll set up on the side of the road with one of them crystal balls. Sometimes I dog walk.
Oh.
A lot of canoes get barnacles. People don't want to scrape that off themselves. I can take care of that.
Odd jobs.
Like to comb cats, long-haired ones especially. A lot of people don't like that. So, for instance, right now I'm trying to come up with the best display, I guess, for a map/calendar hybrid. If you know such a thing.
Okay. I understand the concept. I've never seen something like that, but right on.
Is it like the kind of thing you get from UPS?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a way that you could have a website that would be a map, but also a calendar.
Oh,
So
for
that you can
events.
toggle through events and locations. Yeah. And then trying to figure out what software to best run something like that on a collaborative venture. So it's easier to just say I'm Cat Comer. I think.
Yeah, just
Sandraker.
stick to that. Comb the deserts.
Robbie just said that G-Webs lives off his trust fund.
That'd be awesome.
And No said, trust privileged prick. I've had to count on my lack of trust for survival.
What does No want me to repeat?
I don't know.
I've said so much so far.
You're a wealth of knowledge.
I'm a wealth of something.
What I just can't place.
Probably handsomeness. And
I don't know if you can pull that one off.
pheromones. Whatever the ladies are attracted to. I'm a
Yeah,
wealth
probably.
of that.
I have to oil this a bit more.
Speaking of ladies, I need to go back and watch their chat. The lady chat.
That's what I should have been doing too, dang it. I was in that other chat while it was happening, so I could only like kind of read the chat.
Yeah.
If either of you want to know, I'm screwing around with my SKS right now.
I should have listened to it on the
You're
way
picking off a
home.
robot. We can tell by the noises, dude.
Don't get oil all over yourself. All over your face.
Giggity.
Excuse me.
Noah wants you to repeat that quote right there. Just put that on a t-shirt.
Let's throw that link out there again so more people can join in. I'll do it.
Wants a higher class of collaborators here.
No. No, you guys are just too highbrow for me.
You know what I was listening to before you started this? I was listening to a Google Hangout, which was populated by literally the dudes that created the internet, interviewing a guy who wrote a book about them. So it was the people that, I think it was the people that not only created, some of the people that created the internet from the original beginnings of it, and then the protocols and all that became the internet. And then,
So wait, you're saying Al Gore was there?
yeah, it was basically Al Gore by himself in a room. No, and one author had written a book about it, and then they were talking to him because obviously writing a book is only so much of the story or the picture. So anyway, and it was in a Google Hangout, and I believe the people from Google who invented Hangouts were in there also, or at least in one of the rooms with one of the people because they were a part of it a little bit. Anyhow, they were talking about how the book, like I just said, could only include so much because it had to be limited to, well, they had a limit of 500 pages. They wanted to be around 500 pages for the book. So it could only include so much, and then it could only elaborate so much on each of the things it did include. So they asked him, how do you deal with that as a writer? Like, how do you know what to take out or whatever? And he said how the next version will be more like a Wikipedia where people can add their own pieces and everybody can add to it and ask questions and others can answer the questions, and it can all grow as a collaborative effort and all that. And anyway, it's kind of like what I'm trying to build gun channels into, as I was thinking about it as they were describing it. But it sounds like Google is going to try to build Hangouts into something like that. So we might be getting some assistance from people who know what the hell they're doing. For the idea of like collaborating at a grassroots level without having to be hindered by the adapting to current tech to what we're doing or creating tech to do what we want to do. And that's what I've found to be the frustrating part. I've got a bunch of it here, but I don't have it as smooth and streamlined as I want so that people can just comment around and everything can just be kind of filtered to where it needs to be so that it accumulates in archives instead of just becoming a stream like so many of the other social medias. But it sounds like Google's aware of that. And this article, this interview wasn't new. So I'm hoping that means they've already been working on it. They see the need for something like that, and they've been working on it. That would take us to Star Trek really fucking quick. If everybody who's aware of stuff could get together and put it down while they're still, while they still exist and while they can still answer questions to people, and all the various, pieces of it could be hashed out while they're still around to really make sense of it all. And then everything from that builds on. That'd be like Star Trek pretty quick.
Just need like a holodeck so that I can go places I've never been.
I'm pretty sure Jordy says that you just have to open one of them books, which are kind of like them newspapers except with hard edges.
Oh.
No, he has to go. He has to take that. What was it called? That Reading Rainbow thing. You have to find the Reading Rainbow, and then you can get, holodeck.
I heard those things are heavy.
I feel like that's oppressive. It makes me feel like gay people have to be smart. It's putting too much pressure on that portion of society. I feel like they need a safe space. Why can't it be a listening rainbow? Then it's not biased on educational level.
Agreed. Looks like I need to re-turn off my popping sound. Pop.
It's like you get that 1911 there for a pretty good deal because it's all damaged on the slide. Just get a new slide from like Rock Island, put it on there, be good to go.
No, that one was special because that was the one that was in. It took shrapnel damage because it was in Battle of the Bulge.
Oh, all right.
That's what the significance of that is. But I thought that was pretty cool. Looking at it, technically, you could replace the slide, if you needed to, but you really just need to replace the barrel, and technically it probably would still work. Looking at the damage.
Which 1911 is this?
Where is that link? Where is it?
Is it property? Is the frame property of the U.S. government?
Yeah. There, it's in the side chat for you. But on one side, it looks fine. On the other side, it just looks tore up. It's shrapnel.
Take a buffer to that, get it out of there real easy, shine it up.
Just use some Bondo. It'll be fine, right?
I heard you can just use toothpaste and let it dry. That'd be good to go.
Yeah, toothpaste fixes a lot of things. Glasses and teeth.
I don't know. I might use a little epoxy with some Bondo.
That's just lightening up the slide for faster shooting.
For faster recoil, right?
Yeah. I like it. Except for that one up top there. By the front sight.
Honestly, you can still use the front sight. I mean, it'll kind of suck, but,
You can use the front sight, but that big gouge right behind it.
I mean, overall, it doesn't look like it's too horribly damaged. I mean, you could just, you see there's one indent on the barrel. You could just replace the barrel and it probably would function just fine. Or you could just replace the entire slide and just keep it for, posterity.
I don't think shrapnel had anything to do with the front of it here. Looked like he was using
What's up, home dogs?
Oh my god, it's the Smegster. He's still alive.
I am still alive.
So
what's going on, man?
So they selling it?
I don't know. It was just a thing on guns.com. I figured I'd just post it and see what people say.
It'd be cool to have as like a collector's item, I guess.
Do you see any markings on it to say which manufacturer made it? Or does it just say Colt?
It's a post 1913 Colt.
Okay.
Because the patents are all 1913.
Because remember, during the war, the other companies made the 1911s as well for the United States military.
It's an A1.
Besides Colt.
I just don't see on the.
Even though mine's a copy, it looks a lot like mine.
Kind of see. Yeah, there it is. The property.
Minus the
United
the
States
shrapnel
government.
damage.
Yeah, it looks all OG. You can even put that serial number on the frame into Colt's website and find out exactly what year it was manufactured. Roundabouts.
Yeah.
Oh, it tells you right here, 1943.
43. Good year.
That's how I found out. My dad's is like a Frankenstein. I thought it was a full gun, but the frame was 1912.
Ooh, early.
Frame is a 1912 according to the serial number, but the slide has that 1913 patent, so they obviously pieced together a newer slide on top of the older frame before they sold it. Because back in the day, the guy that he got it from bought it from a pawn shop for like $52
It might have just been old parts,
back in the 60s.
replacement parts, probably.
This was at the time when the government was a little more
Forthcoming.
not forthcoming, but what am I trying to say here? A little more liberal, I guess, with selling in surplus.
I don't want to say I don't think we should use the word liberal. That has a negative connotation.
I don't think so. I think we should take it back because I'm not letting
How much
progressives
is less oppressive?
hijack.
Yeah, less oppressive government.
Yes, a much less oppressive government.
Before Obama was, a sparkle in his daddy's eye.
So I'm trying to diagnose a problem with my dad's rifle that I did not witness myself, and trying to figure out from his description. Basically,
It's the ejector.
Tell him to stop using Tula.
he wasn't using.
Limp
Limp
bursting.
Basically, what was happening, it was like birds that he was shooting. We built it earlier. I didn't get a chance to fire it yet. And he did it by himself when I was out of town. But it sounds like it's not really going into battery. Like he's saying that the bolt's not going all the way forward. And then he tried a couple times, and then he finally got one to load, and it fired, and then the rest of the magazine loaded fine.
What gun is this?
It's a Frankenstein AR-15.
So it just
You
happened
never
once.
shot it before after being built, and then it hiccuped a few times, and then ran fine.
Yeah, but then we put a different magazine in, and it was having that same problem still. So it's still not to the point of running perfectly fine.
I would give it a while for all the parts to mesh, at least. If it's running at all, then you're good to go and it's working. Now it's just a matter of everything kind of working itself together. So I would just shoot it a bunch, not worry about it being finicky until it doesn't get smooth after a while, and then if it doesn't get smooth, start looking at, I don't know, maybe buffer weight. What is this, a carbine or a rifle?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. The other thing is he's using old, metal magazines. And I remember my father-in-law, he was using that same type, and he had problems with his rifle. And then we used the newer Magpul mags, and it freaking loaded every single time, no problem. So I don't know if that has something to do with it or not, but that was going to be one of the things I tried, was bring over some of my Magpul stuff and let them use that.
Yeah, it's good to rule out stuff that can be swapped out like that.
Right, and that's an easy fix too. Is okay, well, just use these magazines then. I wish you would have told me about it beforehand. I would have got a Magpul mags for Christmas. That would have been a great gift. Be like, here, use these now. Problem solved. And that's. I was over there on the weekend and I was looking at it. I didn't see anything that looked weird, and I loaded up a magazine and just, racked it a bunch of times, and then just, pulled it back, and it loaded every time. And I just kept ejecting the live shells onto the workbench and load the next one in, and it worked fine. So I haven't experienced the problem, but I haven't shot it yet either. But
I don't like to go by that because it's kind of different than. I mean, usually when I did that test, it would be never fail, but it would only fail under real fire, so you really couldn't tell.
yeah, well, but it sounded like from his description was that like once he got one to fire, then the rest of them would feed. It was just when he initially like put the mag in and tried to charge it, the first round wouldn't go in.
So was he loading it to 30?
I don't know that. That's not information I thought to ask.
Yeah, sometimes the lock-in thing where the mag is could be in the wrong spot, and it might be pushing up harder, so it takes more force to load that first round, and it could jam up on the first round, or even the second. And then you'll see like marks on the lips. So check all that out.
Alright, what the hell, dude? Let's freaking go. Oh. Okay, so basically you guys are kind of saying the same thing I was thinking. Don't worry about it. Let's try a different mag, see if that fixes it. And we'll go from there if it doesn't work itself out.
For sure. And ammo, of course. Or did you already say that's where I've been sitting here clicking on stuff. Did you already try different ammo?
No, I think he only had the one type. And it was, what the hell was it? It's brass, but I think it was wolf.
Oh, well, that's probably shitty. I would try real ammo.
Like a box of American Eagle, something up there.
Black Hills.
Yeah, I figure I'll bring over a couple of boxes of my ammo plus my magazines when I finally get to go out with them. So then we will have some options.
I still have a crap ton of ZQI that I bought. The Turkish terrorist ammo. It's pretty good stuff. 30 rounds for $10 wasn't bad, so I kind of went crazy last.
And then you feel
January.
good like you're supporting a good cause right away, too?
I kind of rationalize it by saying the more Turkish ammo I have, then the less Turkish ammo the Turks have.
Exactly.
So,
Like the terrorists don't have that ammo.
yeah.
But the Turks are fighting the ISIS guys, so they're kind of our allies over there right now.
Yeah, well, they also fuck with the Kurds while they're fighting ISIS, so
I feel like it's an ammo buyback.
yeah.
You know what? We were talking about that last night, right? Of doing a private gun buyback just to get a bunch of cool stuff real cheap. We should do an ammo buyback and give out, you know, a $20 gift card for a bunch of 22 ammo or something.
I don't know, you'll be getting
For every
like
1,000 rounds of 22 ammo, you'll get a $20 gift card.
you'll be getting some green ass 9mm and some fucked up hand loads.
All them 38s that look like mushrooms because of all the buildup on the lead.
Yeah.
Like brass mushrooms.
Yeah. Ammo buyback, not such a good idea. Gotta think that out. Didn't think that through, did you?
But now I'm worried about the lead. Like the lead poisoning.
Well, BE seems to be doing okay, so.
So I got this guy at the gun show had these two big bins of like crazy ammo, so I got another couple of interesting ones. Pretty cool.
I'm gonna have to see what my dad has Saturday. He said he got a bunch of old ammo. I'm gonna go through it and see what he's got.
Did you guys see the article I posted about? Basically, it was like gun shows. It sounds like there was like a liberal that went to a gun show, and it was like mass killers getting their favorite guns with a smile. And the whole thing was like how they walked up to a dude who had like some rifles on the table, and of course they're like, the same rifles that so and so used to kill 20 people. Above, it's like you have to remind us of that kind of shit. But anyways, it's like, and he was like, "Oh, how's it going, young lady? You buying a gun for your dad for Christmas? I bet you're his favorite daughter. Ha ha ha." And she's like appalled that the guy was being friendly to her while trying to sell guns.
What are you talking about? I was away from the computer.
There's some article, I'm pretty sure I posted on gun channels, but the title was something like, buying mass murder weapons with a smile or some shit like that.
That's a good way to get your ass kicked.
Yeah, just walk through a gun show and condescendingly, am I saying that right?
I mean, there's limits to being an asshole.
Talk to everybody and talk shit.
Well, and then they brought up to some person that apparently just got in trouble for basically trafficking guns, and they're like, "This is the same gun show that so and so would buy his guns from and take them to Chicago." And although most of his sales were from FFLs, and so he passed the background check, there also were some that he could have bought at private dealers. And then also in the article, it said something about, now even though this entire gun show were all FFLs, the possibility of private sellers being there, it's like, wait a minute. Obviously the dude's a straw purchaser that he was able to buy from FFLs in the past. So what's
Which
the difference?
is illegal in the first place if you straw purchase.
Right, and that's what he got busted for was trafficking guns or whatever. But his defense is that he doesn't sell guns; those were just his personal collection. He only sells drugs. But anyway, it's like, okay, so he bought 10 guns, now 9 of them from an FFL and 1 of them from a private dealer. Well, so what? Like he was obviously able to pass the background. So what does it matter if he bought it from a private dealer or not anyways? It's not going to matter if he had universal background check. He still would have bought it from the private dealer, and he still would have been breaking the law when he sold them to other people on purpose, knowing that they were felons.
Mm. It's just not right.
I really got to get my computer or something and start doing what I want to do for YouTube. Of going through stupid ass articles like that line for line and just blowing them apart.
I was doing that earlier with that one Virginia thing. Not really blowing it apart, just commenting and being sarcastic asshole like I normally am.
Oh, exactly. I mean, that's why I'm just gonna, I'm picturing in my head, and I'll probably, I don't know, I might do something as like live stuff so I can have other people in there, but I'm picturing kind of just doing an edited thing where I put the article up on screen share and then just like highlight the lines as I scroll through and then just make smart ass comments about certain things. And then edit it all together and put it up as a little 5-minute video or some shit.
Why not make it a 10?
Nobody liked that idea.
No, I didn't think so either.
Yep. Yeah, I quit.
You always quit, though.
That's it. I'm no longer going to ever do anything on YouTube or gun channels or anything ever again. Nobody likes me.
Who knew you were an anti-gunner?
I'm not an anti-gunner. I'm just very sensitive.
So was that car of yours?
My car's not sensitive.
So who's the owner of Stag? I didn't know they had an owner other than Stag was like the commercial kind of outlet for CMT.
Yeah, them.
So they're just going to sell it. But they're going to continue to... They're like one of the 4 major forges in the U.S., so they're not shutting down, right?
Yeah, I wonder what that Stag stuff's really all about. So they didn't put
They
serial
had a
numbers
bunch-
on some stuff?
Yeah, they got caught with a bunch of lowers that were unserialized about 8 months ago, I think.
Went out the door.
You roboted like a motherfucker.
Do the
Oh,
robot.
sorry about that.
Smiggy.
Yeah, probably.
Daewoo.
What about Korean guns?
Someone's just got a picture of his Scorpion, his Daewoo. Let me see what it is.
All right, am I back now?
Yep.
All right. Sorry, it probably got all weird when it switched over to the Wi-Fi. But anyways, I guess what I was asking is, was it just the lowers were in the process of being, produced and they just didn't have serial numbers yet?
I forget the exact details, but I know they definitely knew what they were doing was not right. And the lowers were there for way more time than they could justify them not being serialized. So I'd have to read up on it again, but from what I remember, that's about it.
Yeah, but I bet it was still more just laziness in production than it was nefarious. I doubt that they were trying to do it.
No, I don't think they were trying to do it. I think it was just negligent or something. Like they forgot about them, misplaced them, and then they had an inspection from the ATF, and the ATF found them, and they were probably like, "Oh shit." Bet your heads were rolling that day, and now you gotta sell it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the CEO's stepping down too, right? I mean, that was part of the plea bargain or something.
Yeah, I still gotta read a lot about it.
Yeah. I guess I just think of it, from what I know, and that is car manufacturing. And cars don't get a VIN number until, halfway through the process or whatever. They can build the bodies and get them painted, and it's still just a chunk of metal. And then once it gets over to the final assembly, when they start putting stuff on, that's when it gets a VIN number. And so I would think guns would be a similar thing. You can make it, because then if something goes wrong, you have to scrap it. It's just a chunk of metal. It's not a thing yet, really.
You would think that they would be able to have a certain number of lowers that were unserialized for
Nope.
replacements, right?
No. No.
No?
No, because you can't reserialize something. There's already a serial, so a replacement serial will be a new serial on the books. So you have a certain.
So as soon as they serialize it, it's documented, and they couldn't go.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's super official, and that's where they'll go from just being a thing in inventory in the factory into a locked room with need to need to know or whatever, need to be in there kind of access, because now they're firearms and they have to be like accounted for. So there's a step in production on every type of firearm or every type of receiver at least, where that production step makes it a gun, and then that's where they get serialized either right before or something like that. So they'll be laying around. Look at some of the factory tours. They'll be laying around in like, you could say 80% configuration on the factory floor, depending on the kind of factory with the ISO shit going on. They'll all be tracked. Everybody knows where every one of them is anyway. But then as soon as they become serialized, they just get treated differently. But it's not like they can build a gun and then throw a serial number on it. It's whenever the frame becomes whatever it is that qualifies it as a frame. So with a Glock, like whenever it's molded and it's done coming out of the mold, it's probably a gun. So they probably shove it in there with the serial number, since that's how they're made. Or with a certain other gun, it might be like whenever it comes out of the mill, with that last step, boom, now it's a gun. Next step, put a serial number on it or something.
So then that's the step that Stag, skipped or forgot about or whatever, right? They milled it out, but they never put a serial number on it.
Probably.
They got rated for it a while back too. I remember that. They had unserialized lower receivers.
About this company called Cab Arms, do you remember those guys in Phoenix or Phoenix area? They made a lower AR receiver that was incorporated the stock and the pistol grip and the lower all in one thing when it was polymer, and it was really strong, but it was kind of small, and it was kind of the kind of thing, if you liked it, you liked it. If you didn't, you didn't. But anyway, they for the longest time they had a variant or whatever it's called to have them made at the place that took the two halves and vibration welded them together. And for whatever reason, I guess probably you get the parts and stuff in there. That's how they made it. So whatever the variants, I guess is what it's called, to have a place offsite do part of your construction or whatever. And then after a while, something about that, they got all mad about it and gave them all kinds of shit about it eventually. So they don't necessarily, the ATF or whatever doesn't necessarily stay consistent in their shit. So Stag might have been doing it one way, and then the ATF came along and said, "Oh no, you can't do it that way." So now all of a sudden, maybe all these that are in production are out of whack now because of our new interpretation of some shit. If they're trying to screw with them, who knows what they're doing? Or has there been something come to light that was Stag was at fault, like trying to skirt something or do something shady?
Or the ATF just has it out for them, Moon,
Yo.
what do you think?
I don't know, because I kind of remembered when it first came out that Stag knew about them before the ATF found them. But I could be remembering it wrong, so I don't really want to say that for sure. It's my speculation at this point. And I'm just flipping through Facebook right now. I'm not really researching or anything. Does CBS syndicate this Ben Swann? Did anybody ever watch Ben Swann's reports
Nope.
posted? He's like a super pro-freedom kind of guy. Usually counters pretty much the rest of what liberal, progressive crap you're going to hear on the news. But
I don't believe
I
it.
forget what state he played. Ben Swann? He was actually, I forget where he started. I think he started on a local station. But he did get famous with a lot of pro-freedom people just by like every one of his reports were debunking anti-gun, gun grabbers, just any kind of anti-freedom bullshit.
Well, nice to have more anti-gun grabber people.
Like this one, he broke down the Second Amendment for the anti-gunners, and they were not too happy with the results.
Are they really ever happy with the results?
It may be the single most controversial and most contentious right listed in our Bill of Rights. And much of the root of that contention is an understanding what the founders and the framers actually meant. What is the Second Amendment really about? You may not like it, but this is a reality check you won't see anywhere else. You know, so many questions over the Second Amendment. Is the amendment outdated? If the founders and framers...
All right, guys, I'm going out to dinner.
Later, Smags.
Is dinner outdated?
Is dinner outdated? Find out on Hit or Miss.
It says this, quote, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, some legal analysts say it was not until the 1980s that the militia part of the Second Amendment became ignored, and thanks to an all-out push by the NRA, the meaning of the Second Amendment was expanded from militia to the individual. CNN legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin writes this, quote, the reinterpretation of the Second Amendment was an elaborate and brilliantly executed political operation inside and outside of government. Ronald Reagan's election in 1980 brought a gun rights enthusiast to the White House. At the same time, Orrin Hatch, the Utah Republican, became chairman of an important subcommittee of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he commissioned a report that claimed to find, quote, clear and long-lost proof that the Second Amendment to our Constitution was intended as an individual right of the American citizen to keep and carry arms in a peaceful manner for protection of himself, his family, and his freedoms. Now, Toobin's analysis may be historically correct in as far as the change in modern or public view of the Second Amendment, but he's absolutely wrong when he indicates that the Second Amendment did not originally mean private ownership of a gun for individuals. Again, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and to bear arms shall not be infringed. So what is a well-regulated militia? What were the framers talking about really? You know, of all the fears of the Founding Fathers, none was stronger than their fear of standing armies. As David Young has observed, quote, the necessity of an armed populace, protection against disarming of the citizenry, and the need to guard against a select militia and assure a real militia which could defend liberty against any standing forces the government might raise were topics interspersed throughout the ratification period. Now, this may be a very foreign concept, but the very first fight over the Second Amendment was not over whether the population should be armed. Reality check here, all the framers and the founders agreed with that idea. It was a given at that time. Everyone was armed. No, the fight was between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists over whether we would have a standing army. The Anti-Federalists, among them George Mason, Patrick Henry, and Samuel Adams, they were militant advocates of the inclusion of a Bill of Rights in the Constitution because they did not trust the power of the federal government to be restrained. Don Cates, a constitutional and Second Amendment scholar, he points out that, quote, during the ratification debate, the Federalists vehemently denied that the federal government would have the power to infringe freedom of expression, religion, and other basic rights, expressly including the right to arms. In this context, Madison secured ratification by his commitment to support Madison, George Washington, they wanted the Second Amendment because they believed that a strong federal government would be able to control a standing army. The Anti-Federalists, they wanted it because it would mean every able-bodied man in America would be armed in the event that the federal government, or America's own standing army, turned on its own people. I told you, it's a very hard truth here, and really that's what you need to know. The Second Amendment is not about hunting, or even just about defense of your own home. It was written by men who ultimately believed that governments and armies would turn on their own people. The Second Amendment was written to guarantee that that would never happen. That's Reality Check. Let's talk about that tonight on Twitter.
Oh yeah, let's talk about it on Twitter.
That was just on Twitter. I thought he was saying that was just the promo to a show that he was going to have later on that day.
No, he just has a segment that I know of.
So is that recent, or is that from a while ago?
November 3rd.
Semi-recent.
Yeah, I always enjoyed his stuff. He actually, I think late 2013, when stuff was kind of dying down, he was most popular then. I just thought he would get syndicated somehow, and not that I'd want like Fox to pick him up or something, because then
Then they push their own agenda on him.
that and his credibility would go down to most people that, deny Fox.
Mm-hmm.
As you should, because they're not as fair and balanced as they say they are.
Fox deniers?
Fox deniers.
Didn't they say that Al Gore won the presidential election?
Yeah, they said some stuff. They're banned in Canada.
They're banned in Canada. Well, that's too bad for them.
Oh.
Like they have it blocked. You can't even get there on the internet and stuff.
I'm pretty sure you can get it on the internet. They just don't have it on any TV in Canada. Which is pretty messed up. No freedom of speech in Canada.
The struggle is real.
No First Amendment for them. Freedom of the press, I meant. Freedom of speech, whatever.
They don't have freedom of speech or press.
They have the freedom to be oppressed.
No, they don't have the freedom to be oppressed. They're just oppressed. Because that would give you the illusion that they have some freedom, which they
But
don't.
they have the freedom to be depressed.
Yeah, that comes with the oppressed.
No, they have the permission to be depressed. Now, where's Bob when we need him to comment on this stuff? Ah, shit, phone.
I figure there was like this one part of his camper that he wouldn't let me go into, and I figure it's one of those like rooms like what Vader had, and you would go in there and communicate with the Canadian hive mind and like report back, sort of like a hybrid between Darth Vader and like the Cyclones, whatever they are from Battlestar Galactica. How they can all talk to each other.
Say what now?
You ever seen this show Battlestar Galactica on the TV?
Yeah.
The new one? How the robots can all kind of talk to each other through like some hive mind?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying there was this room in his camper where Bob won't let anybody go into, and I'm guessing that it's sort of like one of them Darth Vader chambers, and he goes in there to have like his Canadian hive mind.
Probably.
That's how he reports back on his scouting exposition, his recon.
Should do like a tour. A tour of his camper. For the YouTubes. Oh, there's that 1911. Little Red Danger. Shared it with all of us. She should have held it up to her cleavage. Like she does with all her other pictures.
She likes to show you both amendments.
I like to look at both of her amendments.
Or hold on, you'd like to support both of her amendments.
Yes, for sure. So I kind of want to see this Hateful Eight movie. But being opening on Christmas Day gives me some doubts as to whether it's good. I don't think the best movies open on Christmas Day. But I guess I gotta see Star Wars first.
Oh, you should have joined the chat last night. We had a great chat about Star Wars.
Which one?
He was in there for most of it.
Was he?
He was the guy with the icon that looked like I'm listing the screen now.
No, Moon wasn't in there. It was DD that was in there.
I was in the entirety of Match Chat.
Oh, where I was talking the one after with spoilers.
Oh, I heard all the spoilers.
The super secret spoilers.
Well, don't do anything now, so let's get off of it and talk about MTV, because that'd be messed up.
Okay. Here is something that's relating to Star Wars. Would you
No.
buy a rifle that looks like a stormtrooper rifle?
No,
No?
For $1.
you're dumb. It would just have a bunch of stupid empty space plastic around it, or metal. It would be even worse, and it would be heavy, like a Spaz.
I like the Spas.
I'd rather just have a fake one to play around with. I wouldn't want something that was supposed to be real.
Brandon has a Spas.
I owned a Spaz. I don't have nothing against them. I'm just saying it's a stupid, impractical giant gun.
Technically, it's the first gun to have an arm brace.
I don't know about that.
It predates the SIG.
I'm thinking this Vepr wouldn't have caught on fire if he would have put some kind of modernized rail on it.
What pepper? Oh, on the video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another meltdown test done wrong. My
Oh
opinion.
no.
Of course it's going to catch on fire. Shit gets hot. It's full auto. You got a piece of fancy wood on there. It's a hunting rifle.
Damn, that dude eats fast.
No, apparently dinner got pushed back a little bit, so I got about 10 or 15 minutes to kill.
CMT Tech. That's who makes this? Holy crap.
Either that or I don't eat glutens anymore, so I don't have anything to eat. Because glutens are food, basically.
They're in a lot of them, that's for sure.
Is Cross Machine and Tool? They're not a Forge, right?
I believe they are.
Are they the same as Continental Machine and Tool?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
Because that would be two CMTs
Yeah, there's
doing the
something
same
like that,
thing.
but that's just otherwise it would be not confusing.
It's totally confusing me. And, I'm going to have to email them, call them, bug them.
What are you trying to do?
Fax them.
have some special stuff made or something?
No, I was just looking at this lower that I've been looking at for a while. That's been on Rainier Arms. It has the collapsible stock with the little bars that go on the side, you know?
Like a HK?
Yeah. But it's all like the whole thing's built into the lower, so it's not like a standard lower. And they are pretty pricey.
How much are they?
I think it was like $500 or something.
With the stock and everything, though?
Yeah.
All right. I figure that stock's $200 by itself, probably.
Yeah. Well, I think that particular stock can only work with this lower. Or maybe not. Their page, and it's not.
This car just drove by with a bunch of Christmas lights around its roof.
UHP 15 PDW. Shit. It's a little off. It's 659. But I think on Rainier Arms it was cheaper because this is the site with an MSRP. So retail it was probably about $80 less than that.
So what do you guys think of that Virginia dropping 25 states from their concealed carry reciprocity?
Seems like they're pansy asses.
I am against it.
Never would have guessed that.
I think that those kind of things come and go, and then you have to lash back, make it politically disadvantageous for them to consider it next time around, just like they did with the magazine issues in Colorado.
It's really their attorney general, right? I mean, that's up to their attorney general. So whenever they switch, they could just change that back.
Do you think that's going to be used as an example or like a rallying cry for a federal reciprocity thing, which I'm not necessarily in favor of? Part of me says, okay, that'd be cool if the federal government said, all right, everyone recognize it, you know, all these crappy states that don't, you're stuck with it, who cares? But at the other part of it, I can see how that can be kind of bad. I mean, I like the states being able to pick. So, I don't know. I'm still kind of torn on the whole the federal reciprocity thing.
I just don't think we need it. That implies that the states can't work together and come up amongst themselves with a way to deal with it, or that it needs somehow a federal structure to operate in. I don't think it needs either of those things. It exists now without either of those things.
Yeah, but see, I think that we already have an example of how the states don't work it out. As far as there's those 10 states that pretty much don't allow anyone.
That's their right, though. That's their freedom, I suppose.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying. That's what I'm. That's
their right, but it's their freedom to let the people tell them what to do, just like it's the right of the people to change that shit.
Yeah, and I don't like the reasoning that the Virginia guy gave of like, oh, we have a thing in place that keeps felons and domestic abusers and stuff from not getting concealed carry. But if we let these people from other states carry, like, who knows who they'll be? Even though every other state pretty much has that same thing. If you get a permit, you went through a background check and you're pretty much a good guy.
And hold on, so I would like to add this, that because you are accused of a crime, until you are convicted of said crime, it is not right to take away your concealed carry permit or your guns. I mean, just being accused by your whore ex-wife does not mean you actually did something bad. It might just mean she's a bitch.
Oh, right, yeah. When you're talking about the, accused domestic abusers.
Yeah, the accused ones can't get it in some states. Now, I understand if they're convicted domestic abusers cutting some of their laws, cutting some of their rights to have weapons. But the problem in this country is we cannot take away people's rights without due process. And being accused of a crime does not mean that you actually committed said crime. So all those states are doing that. They're violating their constitutional rights. Now, if you put it in your state laws that if you're found guilty of said abuse, then that's a violent thing, and you can have, like even in Texas, if I was fined to be violent, even if it's not a felony, but it's a big enough Class C misdemeanor, I'll lose my license. It's violence.
Right. But especially with that particular one is used a lot in, custody battles and stuff. It's almost like the lawyers tell the lady, hey, accuse your husband and then you'll totally get to keep the kids.
Right.
So I think it's very, it lends itself to being abused and being falsely accused quite often.
Yeah, and I work at a bank. Do you know how many people I see that come in that their credit is crap because when they got into split with their ex, they ran all the credit cards up, maxed them out, spent all the money they could, ruined their credit and the spouse's credit just to be spiteful. So the things that people do when they go through divorces are just short of akin to the most horrible things they'll do in their entire lives outside of if they were a murderer or something. I mean, seriously, they do the most jacked up stuff in a divorce situation you've ever heard of. And I see it day in and day out.
Yeah, that happened to my uncle. Same exact thing. His wife racked up a bunch of credit cards and then they split. He got stuck with all that.
Yeah, they'll feel the other person to get back at them because they're angry, so they'll ruin their credit in order to ruin the other person's credit, which is stupid and self-destructive. But you're not thinking right when you're going through a split with a loved one, because it really. Do you know your brain chemistry actually changes? It's pretty amazing. So I found this interesting because I read a book on the brain. They did brain studies on people, and they discovered that whenever you lose a person that you normally are like around all the time, like a child or a spouse, you're always inhaling what they smell like, and part of your brain grows attached to that. And when that's suddenly cut off, you literally lose your damn mind. So I'll give you an example. Your brother who lives in Houston gets hit by a car and dies. You're sad, Your parents, they get old, get cancer, they pass away, right? But your kid gets hit by a car, you're destroyed. You split with your spouse or they get killed. You're destroyed for a long time. It's much worse than a sibling or a parent because, again, you are attached to them in more ways than you know. It's not just love; it's actually brain chemistry is attached to them, and then it's cut off. So the loss is so much worse.
I'm back.
Anyway, this guy who wrote this book, he brought people in that had these horrible things happen and tested their brains with MRI scans, and saw the chemistry, and he had ways to test their brains, and he discovered that if it was someone, just having a loved one die doesn't affect you. That it affects you in a certain way, but having a loved one die who you've been close to day in and day out and grown attached to hits you far worse. Hey, Night
I don't
Strike.
know. It was pretty rough when my grandfather died. I was very close to him. Granted, I didn't live with him when all my life, but I did. I was always at his house when I lived in Arizona. So
Okay, so there's the cognitive side of loss, where it's the logical side of loss and the missing of the person. And then if it's a child or a spouse, where you inhale their scent every day, every night, all the time, and you lose them, you have a biological reaction happen in your brain chemistry, and what's released actually changes. Your grief is so much more intense when it's that situation.
yeah.
And that's why when people get divorced, they lose their minds, because they're cutting themselves off.
This is morbid. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, I'm killing this chat, dude. I'm rocking it. Night Strike, you wanted to talk a little about websites, but did you want to do that?
Not
live?
on air.
Oh, not on air. See, I didn't know.
I don't think you
did.
want your website to be blasted on air.
Please
Blasted.
don't.
Ooh.
Well, not blasted, but I don't think you want confidential stuff on air.
Okay, now I get that. I'm like, Night Strike's all like, I haven't seen a website that sucks this bad since I was in the
No, not like that. You were talking about no. We're not talking about those Vietnamese whores, even though they are quite nice.
The last
So,
time I saw
Nathan,
something suck that hard, I had to pull a sheet out of my rear end.
Yeah, while your truck was
Freaky.
halfway through the mud, right?
some freaky
No.
stuff
No.
talking about. Nathan, did you shoot your gun again and file the front sight down?
No, I have not gotten an opportunity. I went to Star Wars this afternoon with my son instead of going to the range. It was a far better experience.
Did you call Smith & Wesson?
Why would I do that?
Because I guarantee you they'll send you a set or two of sights.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I call them and explain it, do I explain everything to them, or do I have a certain story I want to feed them?
Well, just tell them you bought this M&P with night sights from the factory. They have Smith & Wesson on the sights, right? They're factory sights.
I
Yes.
think they're. I guess. I truly think they're after factory Trigicons that the armorers put on for the cops.
Oh, really?
Just say yes.
But I could call and tell them that. Now, when they ask me,
It'll have the Smith & Wesson emblem on the sight, on the metal part of the sight, if they are from the factory.
okay, hold on, let me go grab them. I'll look.
Yep.
How's it looking?
Okay, so the only thing I can find on the sites beside the standard white print on them, which has been a little scraped off, that looks like the Trigicon print. But looking at the very top of the site here, it has M and P stamped into the metal.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's probably indicating it's factory. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
So do I tell them about this like new at Academy last month and it's shooting low, or what do I tell them? Or it's dim? Or
Yeah, tell them it's dim. Tell them the problems. Go on and try to register the serial number first on their website. See if it's already been registered or not.
okay.
And I'm betting that even if it's a police trade-in, they'll still accommodate you with sites.
Okay.
I'd say give it a try
But
because
call them or email them. Call them.
call them.
Call them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It looks like it's got the serial number printed on the side here in the plastic. They even bother putting a little piece of metal like Glock does in it. I'm sure the serial number's inside the frame somewhere, though. Because this, literally, I could sit here with a piece of sandpaper and take this plastic off where the serial number is. Okay, I'll give that a shot the next time I have a little free time to call them while they're still open. Are they? Hold on.
I don't know their hours.
Welcome back, G-Webs. Oh, man.
Any other news?
Nothing worth mentioning.
Not that I can see.
I mean, it's all just the same old, oh, hey, let's just go and institute
I mean,
that.
unless you want more depressing news.
Yeah.
So I did enjoy Star Wars this afternoon. It was very entertaining. Liked it a lot.
Yeah, we can't give any spoilers. This is live. You know, we're not matched.
I just said I liked it. And Darth Vader's Luke's father.
Maybe I'm going to have to head straight to the theater after work tomorrow.
Oh, but Nathan, remember, Jar Jar started the Empire.
Yeah, he did. It's all Jar Jar's fault.
It is his fault. That bastard.
He is worse than a Sith Lord, in my opinion. Far worse.
He is the true Lord of the Sith.
Misa secretly run everything. Palpatine is my bitch. Palpatine came from Naboo, right? Maybe Jar Jar was manipulating him. And then conveniently, when the Jedi hit the ground, Jar Jar met him and led him through the whole series.
What did DB say? DB say he said Jar Jar was totally Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, it's true. It's a fact. We've said it on the internet live. It's a fact.
It's not a fact. We're just bullshitting.
Pretty sure if
In
it's on-
episode 9, Jar Jar's going to come out like he's going to take a helmet off and it's going to be Jar Jar. He's going to be Misa planned the whole damn thing.
Well, I'm expecting, Billy D. Williams to show up in the next Star Wars movie just to betray the main characters.
Yeah, he's like, come on in, I'll protect you. I found I'm the new mayor of Cloud City.
It'll be some other planet this time.
Who's got 2 thumbs and betrayed his best friend? This guy.
I can fully see that happening.
When he did that, they're like all having dinner and they're eating, like because he invites. Because you remember when they go in, Darth Vader's like, he invites them in. Han shoots and he blocks it and pulls his gun away. But then, like on Robot Chicken, it shows them all sitting down to eat, and like everyone's just real awkward.
Yeah, it's just like remember how it should have ended. It's
Yeah.
like you shot first. Why would you do that? And Han Solo's like, it's totally my thing. I don't have a response to that. Oh, that's hilarious.
No, and I still want to. Oh man, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just
No, we won't talk about it.
and this is not giving anything away. Okay, not giving anything away. But wouldn't Han already pretty much familiar with Chewie's crossbow after 40 fucking years? Wouldn't he be already used to like what it does and how powerful it is? That was
Apparently,
totally,
he just never touched it.
well, no, but like he saw Chewie shoot it once, and he's like, "Whoa, man!"
Because
that's pretty good."
Chewie actually, if you look, Chewie had it in every single movie.
Yeah, Chewie's always had that crossbow. So I'm just saying,
He
What-
even
what
had
was
it when he was in Episode 3, fighting with the clones against the independent systems with the clone army with Yoda. He had it the entire damn time.
yeah, I'm just saying, Han and Chewie have been flying around for 40 freaking years, and in this movie, he's like, "Oh wow, Chewie, boy, I just noticed that your crossbow knocks people over." It's like
I really
retarded.
like this.
Man, this is pretty good. It's like, if you hang out with a dude for 40 freaking years, you're hanging out with a dude, and
Dude,
you
if
ever
you're
like,
encouraged, go for the goal.
and you're ever like, "Hey, now that we're down here on the range practicing, can I try your crossbow for once?" You know, I mean, I've only
You see,
seen
in Star Wars, the only practice they get is when they're shooting against the other guy.
Chewie. I've seen you shoot about 100 stormtroopers with this thing, but I just now noticed that it knocks them down better than my pistol. It's so stupid. Anyway, are those things on Chewie's like bandolier supposed to be crossbow reloads? Because I've never seen him put one in. And the other thing is why does Han Solo have like
Hold on.
three?
The way it's been explained before, that how you reload the laser weapons or something is they have like some sort of cell charge pack magazine instead of a normal, like a clip or a
Right,
clipazine.
I'm assuming that those are like charges that he can reload into the crossbow is what I'm assuming they are. I've just never seen him put one in.
Well, yeah, because remember it's futuristic. The charge might be so high you don't have to recharge it for a while unless you've been trying to full auto a semi-automatic.
Or maybe the crossbow has the smart technology that can just draw energy directly off the bandolier. Ooh, without a cord attaching it. It's just like kind of like my Sonicare toothbrush that I set on that thing.
I think it's more like the new Samsung Galaxy phones that can recharge wirelessly.
I heard the best way though to charge your iPhone if it's getting low is you stick it in the microwave for 30 seconds. It's got smart technology and it'll absorb the energy.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, I got it in an email. I'm going to try it. Anyone watching, if you ever get that email, do not stick your phone in the microwave. It will explode.
Well, remember, update or two back, they said one of the updates made your phone waterproof, and a lot of people tried to test that, and they bricked their phones.
Made your phone waterproof.
Yeah, an update is not going to make your phone waterproof. Waterproofing is going to make your phone waterproof.
Yeah, you know what makes your phone waterproof? Sticking in a waterproof case. Outside of that, it ain't going to happen.
I know.
People are dumb.
Oh, we know.
Oh, hell yeah.
What's up with-
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What's up with cats and cucumbers? Anybody seen this phenomenon?
Nope.
Let me enlighten you.
Yeah. Have you ever seen dogs and hamburgers?
They just eat them.
They just turn around and eat them.
Yeah. I don't think my cat would jump out against it.
Give it a shot.
I may, just one of these days, see if my cat just freaks out.
I'm about to get a cucumber. See what my cat
From the
does.
research I've done on the internet, all cats are affected by cucumbers or pickles.
I'm
Affected
thinking-
how?
They jump up in the air. You're watching the research right now. It's irrefutable.
I'm thinking like
Every single cat they show jumps up in the air, so that's 100% of cats. Science.
I'm thinking that like there's something in their genetics. Like maybe back in the day, a million years ago, there was
Oh yeah.
like a cucumber-shaped predator that preyed on cats.
The Venus fly cucumber.
Venus fly cucumber. That's right.
So now when they turn around and see it, they're like, "Holy shit!" They don't even know why they're doing it because it was like they're
Like
not a
inherited
threat
reflex.
anymore. It's just in their nature now.
That is a good. That is a good theory.
I'll test it and I will film it one of these days. Maybe they think they're snakes or something.
That's probably what it is.
It's a snake. Even though a
Rat.
cat,
Looks more like a rat.
like a green rat. Are cats
A rat?
colorblind?
Well, that's a wrap.
No, I think they can see color. I don't know.
Cats can't see color.
Dogs can't see color, from what I understand.
Dogs.
Cats can see color, but they don't care.
That's probably more the truth.
Yeah.
They're just not all that interested in it.
Maybe they're like, "Is that the dump I just took?" And they're happy and they jump up in the air. Like,
No,
"Holy
I
crap."
have those pictures. Holy crap, that was huge.
That was a big one.
Maybe narrow turtles were a real danger back in the day.
Yeah, maybe.
Iguanas, maybe?
Oh yeah. Oh, it looks kind of like a small puppy, like a just born puppy. It's dead.
Maybe they think it's a dachshund.
Oh, apparently they're afraid of bananas too.
My cat doesn't freak out when he sees a banana. He's seen thousands of them. Nathan, you there?
Yeah, sorry, my son was talking to me.
Oh, okay.
He's buying into the Jar Jar thing, but his lightsaber is four-bladed and looks like a plus.
So what did you have, like flashcards with different kinds of bananas that you quizzed the cat on?
Quiz my cat? Yeah, just every day. No, my cat's different. He's like a dog, because whenever I'm eating at the table, he always comes over and gives me the look that a dog would give me. Say, hey, you've got food. Give me food. I'm not kidding. I don't know. There's something wrong with him.
What if you put like those googly eyes on the cucumber? Because it's saying on this one, after the cat jumps, it has a stare down with it.
Well, I'll be sure to go get a cucumber when I go to the store tonight.
Sounds like it's going to rain here on Christmas.
It's been raining here all day.
I can tell by putting my ear to the railroad track, I can hear the rain coming.
When I lived in Arizona, I could always tell when it was going to rain because you could smell it in the air. That makes any sense.
Oh, well, this cat guy's answer is boring.
What, they think it looks like a snake?
Oh, they just freak out when something unexpected is placed behind them while they're eating. Cats don't trust anybody or anything.
Well, if people are sneaking up and putting stuff behind you every time you eat, would you trust them?
Nope. All right. Had enough cat trivia for today.
Did all you 40 deniers shoot a couple of rounds of your 9mm up into the air because of today?
No. What's today?
No. I would never shoot up in the air.
So basically, any ninja or paratrooper could just take you out because you refuse to shoot up in the air.
No, I don't shoot up in the air without a valid reason.
Whatever, you can live your life how you want. Although I think it'll be a short life if you ever get mad and ninja mad at you or a paratrooper mad at you.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
I think it worked out for Keanu Reeves in Point Break. Nobody got hurt. And he like unloaded a whole mag in the air after Patrick Swayze got away from him.
If you shoot straight up in the air, either in anger or in celebration, it's like a pass. Like you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Like celebrating freedom. Just go jogging and shoot up in the air. You're happy.
Don't ever do that. I mean, if you want to go out there, go out into the desert and do that in do-ups, you're more than welcome to. I'm not going to.
I feel like you recommend really unsafe practices in your chat.
You're the one saying to go do it.
You condone and encourage some really unsafe behavior, I think.
There's no condoning.
I feel like I should put some sort of a metal roof over my safe space.
Remember to get your spam and your tinfoil hat.
Doug's drinking water again.
Damn, he's thirsty tonight.
Yeah, but we recycle our carry ammo once a year into the air.
Hmm. Good.
If you're like hot shit, you can shoot your ammo straight up and then pop out the primer, cram in a new one, put in a measured amount of powder, set it down on the table, and then the gravity will set the round right back in. The projectile.
Seems legit.
You gotta be good.
It definitely takes practice.
Yeah.
I noticed a super old school chatter joined Gun Channels today and
Who's that?
tried to say hi, and he disappeared from the lobby.
Who's that?
Car carrier.
I don't know who that is.
He used to be in a few Yankees older chats, and he used to join a lot of my chats way back. He's in New York, so behind enemy lines, but he does have a cool 100-yard indoor range up there that he has video on his channel from.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think I'm gonna call the early lobby tonight.
What?
Well, that's whack.
I know. I gotta go take care of things. And
I
I
thought
don't
you
wanna
wanted
just
to
leave it running.
to see how it is.
Well, thanks for hosting me, though.
yeah.
Hey, so-
Well, I gotta go take care of a few things, but I gotta talk with Nathan first about something and then head out. So
all right.
I'm gonna call it here.
Oh, what do you think? We're all gonna leave or something?
Yeah, that's fine. We'll sit around and listen to your private conversation.
No. All right. Thanks for listening to the gunchannels.com early lobby. I'm Night Strike. Signing out.